Yeah, I thought our approach was pretty good today. Thought Orlando had a really big hit early. I think bases were loaded. I think Kelzer also had a really big hit. I thought those guys came through with drove some runs in, and really the guys did a good job setting the table for the most part today. And uh, really thought Shedder threw the ball well. I thought everybody threw the ball pretty well.
You kind of mentioned Garcia coming up with that big hit, but just the top of the frame right before Ryan Long had walked off with unbelievable catch. I'm not sure which one was better between him and Farhat, but after Long comes down with that catch, you feel like that maybe might have brought a little momentum into the dugout?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think both those guys, you're absolutely right. They took doubles away and made really good plays. And that's definitely, I mean, anytime you can play defense, it's definitely helps the momentum, get you back in the dugout swinging the bat. I mean, I think there's an old saying about that, about flashing the leather. I just don't remember exactly what it is.
And Ryan's performance today, after he gave that home run, I think he struck out 7 of the next 13. You think
Did he?
Yeah, you think he just kind of calmed down after kind of.
I tell you, I think he really started commanding 2 or 3 pitches. I think they got on some fastballs early. I think they had a really good approach early against him. And then I think he adjusted. I think Matt adjusted with him. I think Matt did a really good job kind of paying attention what their hitters were looking for and keeping them off balance. The guy has to execute pitches to do that too, by the way. Any of us can call them. And it's just not, the guy has to execute on the mound. I'm glad he did that today.
With Clay behind the plate, first couple of bats he was ripping it, just kind of didn't find a hole, and then finally he, I don't know if it's the baseball guys, but gets one down, a little blooper down the right field line. It was actually his first RBI of his Tech career, but what did you just think of him offensively in the lineup and behind the plate today?
You know, I think he really enjoys hitting with men in scoring position. That's kind of always been his something that, I mean, he's kind of been known for, and it's good to see him be able to carry that over to our games. I mean, it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it takes a guy a little while to adjust, but he really put some good swings on some balls today. And you're right. I mean, his first at bat, he could have just as easy drove in 3 as he got out, and they got off the field. So he had some good at bats from both sides of the plate.
When you have that many walks, just how much does that kind of help the offense just churn through?
Well, anytime you can separate balls and strikes and get a guy on first. I was watching, I think I was watching the Dominican USA game last night. And I don't know if it was that game. It was one of the ones, something along those lines is on that channel. And they were talking about, or maybe it wasn't. Anyway, they were talking about the walk, how the percentage that the walk scores compared to a base hit. And a lot of times a walk, get the pitcher. Basically, what they're saying is they'll get the pitcher, just trying to throw a strike instead of executing. And it's an interesting thought. I mean, it's something we haven't really done to this point, and it's good to see us come out and settle into some at bats, slow the game down a little bit, and do a little bit better job.
UTSA, you obviously used all 27 outs. It seemed like all weekend, but Killian there comes in the ninth, or I guess it was in the 8th inning, wasn't it, that he first came in? But how much did he show you last weekend in Houston that felt comfortable enough to bring him in again in a spot down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, he's a strike thrower. He really could be a starter. I mean, he's got a good breaking ball and a decent changeup, and he's got plenty fastball, commands the ball on both sides of the plate. And thought Quezada came in and got us out of the jam before that, and didn't really want to get in the jam there in the 9th like we did, but I tell you, I really think they do a really good job of extending innings and extending at bats. I mean, I was walking over just thinking, how in the world, like some of the teams that beat them, man, it's a good baseball team with some really good arms in the bullpen. The Moeller kid was about as good as we've seen. I don't know if you guys realize that, but I think he was up to 95 and with a pretty nasty breaking ball. And so got a lot of respect for what Jason and his staff do over there, and this guy's always done a good job, and it's fun competing against him. Glad we came out on the right side of it.
I don't know if the term would be like sneaking up on you, but it kind of seemed like there was a lot of 2-out rallies that they kind of had where they would just kind of quietly load the bases, and then all of a sudden you'd be in a
Yeah,
tricky spot.
yeah, and they're not a loud bunch either until they score. I mean, they kind of keep it low key, and like compared to who we played this past week, they kind of got our guys involved in the game a little more just because they were louder. This group really just went about playing the game the right way and did a really good job with it. And then you score. Now they let you know a little bit, and really thought their hitters did a great job with 2 strikes. Thought they really did a good job with their approach all the way throughout. And we're sitting on pitches throughout the game, and again, I thought Matt did a good job of flipping it on them a few times. I mean, there's a lot of guys that would call a game right there, and I mean they could throw some in there that they're looking for. I thought he did a good job kind of knowing what they were looking for, and then the guys executed the pitch.
Anything else?
Just as we move into this next week, you guys had Tuesday to Globe Life Park, play UT Arlington. No, not looking ahead to Texas, but obviously the next first Big 12 series coming up this weekend. What do you want to see from this team that you saw this weekend just continue into this next week?
Well, I mean, really liked our patience today. Liked the way we separated balls and strikes. Want to be able to shorten games with the bullpen. Really want to be able to use everybody down there, everybody that's available, on that given day. And really, I mean, it's a deal where baseball, you're never there. We got to keep growing in all phases, and we fouled some pitches off today that you want to square up. And there's an old saying, I mean, there's a difference between a big leaguer and a guy sitting in the minor leagues. A big leaguer, when they move on it, they square it up. And that's something that will always be there for college hitters. I mean, the challenge of when you get your pitch to be able to stay short to the ball and hit it is quite a challenge. Round ball, round bat, right? So it's not easy. And then from a pitching side, I just want to attack and I want to go get guys and command the ball on both sides of the plate. And there's a lot to work on, I'm telling you. But we're looking forward to this week. It's a fun week with it being, a week guys don't have to worry so much about school. And we're going over there tomorrow and go from there to Austin. It should be a lot of fun.
What have you just seen from UT Arlington so far this year?
Hadn't got there yet. I mean, other than a few scores, and that was actually really early when I was looking at it. They might have played, I don't even know who it was. So we'll spend a good part of this evening and tomorrow looking at it, and really like to go out and play to our strengths, but at the same time hadn't bared down on it just quite yet.
I thought I made a pretty good catch, and then I saw Cody's. That was outstanding.
Do you feel like that catch in the third, I think you guys were trailing 3-2 at the time, you seemed like the bats kind of woke up there in the bottom half of the frame. You feel like that kind of defensive play might have given you guys a little life, a little momentum, and pep in your step?
Yeah, it might have. Yeah, I mean, defensively definitely can help momentum and transition that to offensively. So, good thing we got going.
You talk about the plate discipline today. Obviously, your first 2 at bats, you walked, got on base, bases loaded, scored. How much does that kind of help the offense go when y'all walking? And
that definitely helps the offense out a ton. Seeing a lot of pitches, and that makes it just not about ourselves too. It helps the next guy on deck as he's reading pitches and getting his timing down as well. So it definitely helps the offense out and wears the pitcher out too.
Can a weekend like this help you guys pay off or pay dividends kind of down the line? It just seemed like UTSA kind of quietly went about their business, but they just used all 27 outs, it seemed like, especially in the 9th innings, the last 2 games, just tricky spots.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. Every game counts, and they're a good team too, and they're going to win a lot of games down the road, and they really applied some pressure, and they didn't give up. So make sure, check yourself, and you got to play the game to the end, to the last out.
Anything else?
Just Quezada and, Ryan obviously had set the table, Shedder, just to start the game, but then Quezada and Killian both come in and have some big outs, especially Killian there in the 8th and 9th. Killian kind of showed a lot last weekend just in Houston whenever he came on in relief of Davis against A&M, but what do you think about those performances down the stretch, just to kind of be able to hold serve?
Yeah, they did great. Our pin's pretty strong, and everybody's done a really good job of coming in and shutting it down and just good, tough outs.
Yeah, it does. Any defensive play helps shift the momentum, like Ryan stated earlier. But I think if you're stable defensively, the bats will come in. So you can hold them down a couple runs here and there, and you can grind out some at bats. You'll come out victorious. So that's what we did.
The bases loaded there in the ninth. Pressure can kind of start to mount on a young pitcher, but what did you see from Caleb just kind of keeping the composure and being able to close out?
He's a solid pitcher. I don't think he composes himself as a freshman, so he takes it and he really holds himself accountable. So, he always does a good job, has really good stuff, and, he did a really good job today.
Which catch do you think was better between Ryan and Cody?
I think Cody's, man. Cody's was a little more athletic. Don't tell Ryan, but no, Cody's an athlete. He'll go and hawk down some balls, but so you expect it from a guy like Cody, but he did it to him.
Just for you guys as a team, obviously the result didn't pan out the way you wanted to yesterday, but do you feel like this series is one that you can kind of see pay dividends maybe down the road, just being able to learn how to win some of these tight games later down the line?
I think finishing, yesterday we kind of learned a lesson about how to finish a game. It's 2 outs, 2 strikes, I think, as well. We had them down to
Might have been like 2 different times,
Yeah,
I think, yes.
Anyway, every team's going to grind it out, and, it's easy to get ahead of yourselves and think towards the end of the game and stuff, but, the guys learned. It was a tough loss, and they were going to lose today, so that's what they did.
Coach Tadlock had kind of mentioned that, I don't know if he was referring to LSU. They seemed to chirp a little bit more early in the game and throughout the game than some other teams that you faced. But playing UTSA, how they kind of quietly went about it, and all of a sudden it seemed like they loaded the bases. He kind of said it seemed like last week in Houston, maybe it was like maybe he got like a little to sleep at some points, like in today's or this weekend series comparatively to LSU, and it's like, obviously y'all are kind of chirping back and forth and wanting to be more active, I guess. Did you kind of see it that way at all?
I like that a lot, man. And, they handle their business professionally, and it's fun to play against people like that. Sometimes the talking gets a little too much, and it gets carried away. But it's part of the game, so you can't really say nothing. But
did it seem like that at points during the game where all of a sudden you kind of look up and you're like, dang, bases are loaded?
Bases, yeah, it kind of just jumped in on us. So, it happens. It's baseball. 1 hit here, a walk, a couple hits, and bases loaded. Something crazy can happen. So.
Anything else?
Just looking forward to this week. Headed on Tuesday to Arlington, get to play at Globe Life Park. Then just several days away from a first Big 12 series down in Austin. What do you guys want to take away from this series this weekend as you move forward into this next week?
I think, we're going to prepare the same way, and we're going to do everything the same way. So I don't think it's going to change as far as Big 12 starting. But, just being in Austin, UT, the whole tradition, it's a fun place to be. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then obviously in Arlington on Tuesday, it's a professional ballpark, so you kind of feel like a professional for a little bit. And it's fun, man. It's fun.
Obviously, from y'all's standpoint, I would imagine you just want to be hitting on all cylinders, not to look ahead to the Longhorns, but you just want to feel like your game's where you want it to be headed into that first Big 12 series, especially against a team like Texas.
So yeah, we've got a couple days to prepare. Nothing different, like I mentioned. Same team. We've played them. I've been here for 3 years, so I've played them for a while. But I think it's just about showing up, and competing and having the best at bats you can and grinding it out. So UT's a good ball club, so we'll see how that goes.
Are they coming back to Lubbock after they go to Dallas, or are they just going straight to Austin?
We're just going straight to
Austin.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the last 4 series between you guys and Texas. The away team has won the series.
Is it really?
I'm pretty sure, going back to, I guess, 2012, I guess? Or
I can live with that.
2013, I guess.
I wouldn't mind it.
What goes into being able to feel comfortable going into each other's houses and being able to pick up a victory against, I don't know if you want to call it an in-state rival, but something like that?
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. I love playing UT. Growing up, UT such a big deal, and so it's cool to play against someone growing up has tradition and has a great team always. So it's fun to play in UT. The crowd's insane. They'll get after you. So we'll see how it goes, but it should be a lot of fun.